He's like, lick it. Lick it. And I was like, no, I don't want to lick it. Fucking hell, you just swallowed me for no reason. I will rip your hair out. Oh my god, my phone got stolen. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi and welcome. Join the family, subscribe. We're a small family, but we all love each other. So if everyone's been thriving and, what is it? 30, flirty and thriving. What without the 30? Flirty and thriving and not 30. I don't know what I'm talking about. Today, as you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about something very cliche of someone who's been on a year abroad to do, which is talk about their year abroad. I'm very aware I just sound like every other white bitch that's just been like, oh my god, I just love my year abroad. What I'm here to talk to you about today is year abroad in general, but my really whack year abroad stories. Beep boo boo bop boo boo beep. And they're all very different leagues of weird and scary. For context, I did my year abroad, so from 2018 into 2019, that's when I did my year abroad. And I went to Denmark. I went to this city, second biggest city in Denmark, called Aarhus. Just to begin with, I had big issues with moving there because, so obviously a year abroad is done through university connections. My university in Denmark, University of Aarhus, was very finicky with deadlines. Upon being accepted into that university in Aarhus, I would then apply for accommodation. The prices were extortionate. They will give you your accommodation and then you have 48 hours to accept the accommodation. If you don't accept it, then, you know, it's up to you. You sort yourself out. Why would it be that university's problem to look after international students is, you know, beyond me. So what happened is, for my birthday, I was turning 20, and for my 20th birthday, it was gonna be like a girls trip, just me and my mum. My birthday's the 30th of May, so we left on the 28th and we came back on the 1st of June. There was a whole other backstory. I was not having a good time in my personal life. Like, it was just, everything was just going down the drain. So it was meant to be like a very detox, like off the internet, like all of that kind of stuff, remove yourself. It was just me and my mum. It was like a really lovely experience. Had a very lovely 20th birthday. I don't know, I had this, you should always listen to your gut, because I had this nagging feeling that something was wrong the entire time, and I was like, I didn't want to go on the internet. I sound like a 50-year-old woman, but I didn't want to go on the internet. On the day of my birthday, we went to the old town in Aarhus, me and my mum. I remember this so vividly. They'd given me the place, the accommodation, at 12 p.m. on the 28th, and it's now 1 p.m. on the 30th, the day of my birthday, and I was like, listen, it's still nagging me. I need to look. I need to check. I check everything. Like me, for a minute I thought that there'd been like some kind of like travesty that happened in London, and I was like, I just need to check, just whatever. And then I open my emails, I see that I have this accommodation offered, and I swear it was just like this roller coaster of emotions, because I was like, oh my god, I've got this accommodation, and it was a beautiful accommodation. It was in the center of town. There's this big, like, the centerpiece of Aarhus is this like immaculate circle. It's like a rainbow. I'll put a picture in here. Right, this is beautiful. Not even around the corner, I could see this thing from my window in my would-be apartment. Okay, accommodation. It wasn't an apartment, it was like student accommodation. But I remember just being like, this is my birthday present, this is amazing, like, I can't believe it. And then do some research, and I find out that I'm an hour late to accepting that accommodation. And I remember like frantically like emailing people, oh, I'm an hour late, but I really want this accommodation, please let me in. And I was just like, no. And I remember I was so heartbroken, and it would just lead to a lot of issues later on, like the entire first term. Oh my god, the first Airbnb I got was an old woman. She was 70. She looked like she was 35, but she was 70. I stayed with her, and her son lived downstairs. He was really weird. The washing machine was in his bedroom, so when I wanted to wash my clothes, I'd have to check he wasn't in. And one time she told me, the woman who owned the house, she told me that her son wasn't in, and so I was like, that's sick, I can do loads of cleaning today. I went downstairs and I just like swung his bedroom door open. And he's like on his bed in his like boxer shorts, his like legs are up and like just everything was out. And I remember just being like, I remember just being like, no, I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry, I'm gonna like leave. He was like, oh, just come in, do your washing. And obviously me, who's come fresh from like British culture, which is like, oh darling, no, darling, put it away, put it away. I'm uncomfortable. She told me, I remember one time, this is very key because I put on deodorant before I was about to leave, and then there was this long mirror in the hallway. There's like a long hallway, you turn left, there's a dining room, and then you kind of turn right and there's the kitchen, and she's cooking something in the kitchen. Bearing in mind what she was cooking was very strong. I feel like it was some kind of ham or Danish ham, I don't know. It smells nice, whatever. But also I need to check myself out on the road just in case, you know, because Danish people dress like they're going on a runway every day. I don't want to like stand out like a foreigner, you know. So I'm checking myself in the mirror, and she just like comes around the corner with her tongs. She's like, just so you know, I have a very sensitive nose and I would rather like you didn't spray deodorant in the house. I'm pretty sure it was her English that was like off, and she was asking me not to spray as much, but she just said don't spray it in the house. So that led me to like a lot of confusion, because I was like, what do you want me to do? Not if I don't spray deodorant, you're gonna notice a lot more than if I didn't, okay? Then from then, I moved into an apartment with a Danish couple. Lovely. I can't tell you guys how lovely they were. They were so kind. I was there with them for 3 months. I always tell people this one story because it just sums up my whole experience. I come back from doing my shopping. The kitchen was actually very, very small. Like my side of the apartment was like one big like dining room-esque thing. The kitchen itself was like really, really like slim. Because of that, the dining table in the kitchen was just like this itsy bitsy table that was pushed up against a wall, and it had like 2 chairs facing the wall, and that's where you ate your dinner unless you wanted to take it into your like living area space. But because we were really friendly and I really liked them, so we always ate in the kitchen area. But I come back and I like, you know, you just can feel the tension in the air sometimes. I came back and I was like, yeah, something's wrong. But the boyfriend, I cannot explain to you guys how much of a sweetheart the boyfriend is. So I feel like this is why these arguments were very passive, was because he just did not care enough to raise his voice or like express himself in an angrily way, which she had no qualms with. She was very like headstrong. If she wanted something, she was gonna get it. Like one time she couldn't find kale, so she went dumpster searching for kale. It's a thing that Danish people do, like friends get together and they go dumpster diving. She invited me one time for that and I was like, listen, no. Anyway, so I've been living with them for like 2 months at this point. I just instinctually knew, I was like, yeah, they've had an argument, or they've had, not an argument, like a disagreement, because they never had an argument. Just a side note, these 2 could speak German, could speak Danish, could speak a little bit of Swedish, because they were going to move to Sweden after December, so they were like getting very good at this Swedish and English, and they had chosen to have this conversation in front of me in English. And I'm not sure if they were doing it so that I could feel included, but I will let you know that I did not want to be included in this conversation. And then suddenly the girl just puts her leg like up here on his shoulder, bearing in mind he's still eating, and she just like swings her foot and like lands it on his shoulder, and he's like, what are you doing, in English? And she's like, lick my foot. And I'm like putting onions into my shelf. Like, I'm not a part of this conversation. I remember just being like pausing while I was putting my shit in the fridge and just being like, okay. And then the guy, he was like, no, I don't want to lick your foot. And she goes, no, lick it. And he was like, no, I don't want to. It was like this like ping pong game of like, just do it. No, I don't want to do it. Just do it. I'm packing my shit. What is going on? And then I remember I'd finished packing my stuff away, but they'd been going at this thing for like ever, to the point where I thought it was a joke. And I was turning around like smiling, like, aha, I see what you guys do. And it wasn't. They were like the stone faces, just like really serious. Like, she's like, lick it, lick it. And I was like, no, I don't want to lick it. And then she just, as I'm turning around to like close the fridge and go back into my room, she just goes, well, you normally like to lick it in bed. instantaneous, the way that the boyfriend just immediately just like looked up at me and looked at her, and it was just like, and I was looking at him, and she was looking at him, and we were all just it was just so awkward. It was so awkward. But I cannot express to you how lovely that, I mean, they were insane, but I love them. Anyway, we're moving to January to June semester, which is when I moved into a shared house. I never literally ever called it shared house until I met the Australians who call it a share house. On 3 days of moving into this share house, we went out together. Oh god, this was so annoying, and it just really skewed, like it really like messed with my head, this whole thing, because so we go to, it was like a student union hall, but every Tuesday, I can't remember, I stopped going after this night, International Students Night. So we went, and I remember I was talking to one of my housemates, Jackson, someone that he knew from one of his courses, comes up to me and him and is like spewing some bullshit, like he's super drunk, and he's like, so I got a full plastic cup of beer, and he's like talking to Jackson as if I don't exist at all, and then suddenly he just turns to me and he's like being really like weirdly flirty, I feel like, and then all of a sudden he goes, give me a kiss on the cheek, and I was like, no. And out of nowhere, he just like swills me, and I was so aggressive, like I got beer out my nose. I was like, huh? I was so shocked, and I'd never been like swilled before by a guy, like and it was so out of nowhere. And then he just like walked off so like calmly, as if he just hadn't, you know, assaulted someone. And I remember going to search for the security, and I remember being like, hey, someone's just swilled me, someone's thrown alcohol on me, get him out of here. This is where I get really annoyed. What happened was a security guard really like slowly was like pushing him out, and then he was like standing, he wasn't kicked out, he was like standing in the corridor, not even outside of the building, like he was just outside of the main kerfuffle, like the main gathering of human beings, and like the security guard and him were just like having a little like giggle, like they were laughing together, and he wasn't even kicking him out. And I remember just like walking over, I saw red, because I was like, first of all I was like, fucking hell, he just swilled me for no reason, like just because I didn't want to kiss him on the cheek, what the fuck. And then I was like, yeah, you're not dealing with this properly, he should be out here now. Like there was a good like half an hour had gone by, and I was like, he should have been out, like what are you doing, like what are you catching up like some mother's meeting, like what are you doing? Storm over there, all of my mates from the house like coming with me, and it was so, and I remember just being like, so what, but why did you throw at me, why did you throw at me? He was like, I don't know, I'm really sorry, I don't know, I have no explanation, I don't know. At point I started crying. I don't know why I started crying, because then I got kicked out. Apparently I was doing something wrong by like just asking him why he threw his drink on me, and his amazing answer was, I don't know. I just don't know why I threw a drink on you. I don't know why I insulted you. You insecure, tiny little Australian. And this haunted me for so long, because I don't know why, but I got really like, yeah, I was quite like afraid, because I was like, what the, he just like snapped in like 1 second, and every man that I've ever known like that has been harmful. He did not seem like someone of sane mentality to me, to just be like, you know what, you don't want to kiss him on the cheek, let me just throw all of my drink up on you and then pretend like I don't know why. This technically didn't go down in Denmark, but it is one of my favorite just happenings of my entire year abroad. Me, Rachel and Ezra, I just love those women to death and will hurt anyone that tries to hurt them. Planned this trip to Venice. I really feel like it was a very last minute thing. I don't know, girls, maybe if you're watching this, check me on that. I can't remember the planning before. Maybe because Rachel probably did all of it. But we go to Venice, and the plan was to go for like 3 days. Just started so badly because of me, obviously, because we get to Copenhagen airport to go to Venice, and I decided like 15 minutes before the gate closes that I want to get a Joe and the Juice, and the gate, turns out the gate is on the other side of the airport, so it would have taken 15 minutes just to get to the gate. So on top of like buying myself a Joe and the Juice, we had to run to this gate on the other side of this airport, and I'm like in this massive fur jacket with the freaking Joe and the Juice. I tried not to like fall over, because I just remember it was Rachel, who is neurotic central, like absolutely type A, was like, we need to get there, was booting it across the airport, and they were just like becoming little dots of human beings, because my fitness was at a 0 at this point. I had gained so much like weight from drinking beer. I did not go to the gym because I once got locked in that's a whole other story. Rachel sprinting into the distance, and Ezra's like sprinting and then stopping and then sprinting, but she was still she was eating up the airport a lot faster than I was, and I was there like, just go guys, just go. If they want to leave without me, just let them leave, just go, just go. Just like carrying this bag, like, am I showing the juice, like just running. Anyway, that's how this trip started. We should have known. We should have known that was gonna go downhill. Apart from one day that I was like feeling really sick and I like pissed off everyone because I was just being a massive drama queen. Oh, also just very big side note, but I had met my soulmate at this bar called Foo La La. And I met him, and I've never been so enraptured by another human being, and I'll never see him again. It's time to leave, and as everyone knows, Venice is on water, obviously, so we need to get water taxis. But the day that our flight's supposed to be going out from Marco Polo airport, you know, suddenly the taxis are all full forever. So it takes literally an hour for us to get into a water taxi. Oh my god, my phone got stolen on this trip as well. Yes, because this entire trip I'd been like, haha, imagine this happens, and then it would happen. And I remember like we were in the taxi, in the water taxi, and I remember saying, imagine if we just miss our flight, guys. Wouldn't that be just really funny? And I remember Ezra just being like, shut the fuck up, Annie, you don't want to like speak it into existence. So then we get to Marco Polo airport, and we go to security and we're like, listen, our plane leaves in 15 minutes. We need you to like speed us through this airport. And like immediately something's off, because the woman's like looking at the tickets and being like, looking at the computer and looking at the tickets and looking at the computer. And then she looks at us and she goes, we have no flights at this time going to London. I remember just Rachel being like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Ezra was losing her mind. I was so tired from running, because we'd had to run from where the taxi dropped us off to at this actual security point, so it was like 15 minutes of pure running, and I was not used to that. The last time I'd ran was for the flight to Venice, and that taken it out of me. So the woman's just like, I'm sorry, but this is the wrong airport, you're at the wrong airport. This is like 10 minutes before our flight leaves, and I remember Rachel just looking up like really frantically, like where's the actual airport we're meant to be at? And it was a 45-minute drive away from Marco Polo airport to this other airport. And I just remember all three of us were just like the three different stages of grief. Like Ezra was like crying, Rachel was in absolute overload, like she was stressing out so much. I fell asleep. I can't believe I fell asleep. I just felt so useless because I had no phone because it'd been stolen. Just insanely freaking out. But then also like I had this calm composure, and I was like, well, it's done now. It's done, it's done. We can do nothing. So then I just fell asleep for no reason. I'm such an idiot. I hate myself for doing that, because I feel like I could have added, I mean, I don't know what I could have added to the conversation. I gave everything to Rachel because I knew that, you know, she is like the fixer-upper of our group. Sorry, Rachel. Remember, the next cheap flight out of Venice was 2.5 days after we'd missed our flight, I feel like. But yeah, it was okay. After that, it was fine. I mean, got to see my soulmate one more time. Actually, no, I didn't, because he wasn't there, and I was here. Okay, last story. This one, the club scene in Aarhus isn't really clubs, ? It's like a mix. If you can mix a pub and a bar and add club music, that would be what these clubs are. Very beautiful, a lot of safety hazards. I'm going to show you a picture of what I'm talking about. So as you can see, there's just a body of water, and then either side, no fences, nothing, just places where people can get absolutely smashed. And you think that that's not a safety hazard, like people can just fall into the water. There's this game that they play in Denmark. I'll pull up a picture here and I'll explain to you. Well, it's go to the barman and you ask for nails, as in nails. So you go around and it's like a game of 12 people. I remember once I got asked by a group of males to play this game, and I was like, yeah, sure, because I fancied 3 of the 12. And I remember just being like, yeah, sure, what is it? Because every night I'd go in and I'd see it and I'd think, you know, this is actually really quite scary. You'd have a literal hammer that is like, it's like connected by chain to the block, and the aim of the game is to get the nail in to the bottom second. Yes, second. Because if you get it in first, you're a loser. And if you get it in third, then you buy drinks for everyone. Or maybe that was just a condition that was very particular to that game that we were playing. Everyone gets a nail. We play rock, paper, scissors to see who starts the game. And you get one hammer per go, which makes sense. But if you're like insanely waved, like everyone that was playing the game, you keep missing it. Like you can't do it. If everyone's got the nail in like for one round or something, then you can start nailing in someone else's nail to get them in first so that they'd be the loser. Honestly, I don't know what that game does not belong in a place where people are drunk, because what happens is that someone friggin' tries to hammer in their nail and the nail flings off and fucking hits you in your collarbone. I'm so glad it didn't hit my eye. Yeah, the nail just like flung off and like hit me right here. I remember the guy that did it, he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, English girl, I'm so sorry. Let me buy you a drink. No, it's okay, but I'll have a tray of shots, thanks. In Denmark, they have these like trays of like sour shots. It's like having sours in shot form, but it's not fizzy, it's more thick, and I feel like the alcohol percentage is a lot higher. He did, bless him. I mean, he could have literally taken out my eye, so I feel like, 60 krona worth of shots is not that bad. One of my mates, she climbed onto the freaking balcony and then just either fell or jumped off. We will never know what actually happened there, but she fell from the balcony into the dance floor. I wasn't there that night. I've only been told the story, but no one cared. Like the bouncer didn't kick her out. If this was in London, yeah, if this was anywhere else, even in like Bosnia, I feel like people would just be like, no, you're too drunk, get out. Not her even. What happened is that one of the other girls that I live with, genuinely so lovely, like very, very nice. But one time, I remember I was in the middle of the dance floor in Christoph, like by that balcony place. If there's like not a lot of people on the night, you can see straight from the center of the dance floor through to the outside. And I remember like just being like, where's my mate? Like, where is she? And I remember looking out and she was like on her phone doing all of this business, seeing her like swaying, and I was like, okay, she looks like she might need my help. Yeah, no, she was standing outside the barrier with her coat. She had a phone in her hand. She'd been telling me before we got drunk that she was setting up to go see her mans, and I remember just being like, okay, I'm gonna go see what's happening, because she looks insanely drunk. She was like standing like swaying, like, and very close to the water as well, like. And as I'm getting my jacket from the cloakroom, I like look out again to see her, and these like three like humongous Viking blonde, actually quite broad, they were just three boys had like cornered her, like it just like surround, like they were all around her, and she's like tiny. She's what, 5'2", 5'3" maybe. For context, I'm like 5'11", pushing 6 foot, and these boys were tall for me, but it must have been 6'3", 6'4". But like I remember just seeing her being like, no, like don't, like leave me alone, like whatever. And then one of them shoved her. I can remember someone like shoving her shoulder, because she'd been like, no, like leave me alone, and she'd like tapped him by accident or something, and like then he like shoved her, and I was like, fuck the jacket. I went out like on fire. I was like, I want to fight someone. I remember just being like, get your hands off her, like what are you doing, don't touch her, get away from her. And then all these three like boys like turn around to me like, whoa, where's this girl coming from? May I just add, this is like so out of character for Danish men. I can't describe to you enough how safe I felt around Danish men. I've never been able to walk home at like 4 a.m. and feel safe, like feel like no one would hurt me. For someone of like 6'3", 6'4" to pick on someone that's like 5'3", there's 3 of you, one of her, she's like all timid and like, leave me alone, I'm on my phone. One guy was like really in my gut. I was like swearing my head off. I was like, dude, like get away from her. And then he got angry, and then my housemate Jackson, like out of nowhere, who's just like this raging pacifist, was like trying to calm the situation, and I was there like trying to like add fuel to the fire. I was like, yeah, and your hair is disgusting, you Danish cheese stick. None of what I was saying was making sense. I just equated his really blonde hair to a cheese stick. I don't know why. That doesn't even make, what does that even mean? What is a cheese? I don't know. This other girl gets involved. She was apparently one of the guy's girlfriend. Now you've been like saying shit to my boyfriend, no, and then call me a lady of the night, and I was like, yo, I was I didn't want to fight her because I was like, this is not your issue, babe. Because I was like, excuse you, your boyfriend, the person that you let sleep in your bed, I was going to say something much worse, hounding another woman. And it wasn't just because, you know, they wanted to know how she was going to get home, you know, they were hounding her and shoving her and like laughing at her. I will rip your hair out. And then Jackson got involved. He was like, don't hurt anyone. But so out of character for literally everyone involved. I remember being like, that's so whack. First of all, for a Danish boy to be like that. Second of all, for a Danish girl to be like that, because Danish girls are normally like very lovely. I will always cherish my year abroad. I mean, so many things went wrong, but I so cliche. I'm literally about to sound so cliche. You know, I just grew as a human being and like I learned a lot and I realized things and like, you know, and I miss everyone so much, even the people that I thought I wouldn't miss at all. Apart from the guy that threw his drink on me, you can absolutely drown in beer. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe. That's all. I will see you later.